Hey everybody out there, this is Seto Kaiba, and today for you guys, we're going to do a very interesting video, I guess you could say, going into 2016. We are going to do a top 10 video, and that video is going to be my top 10 favorite decks that I currently own. I may do eventually one day my top 10 favorite decks of all time. But for right now, I decided that I'm going to show you guys the top 10 decks that I currently own. I own a lot, and I mean a lot of decks. I own a lot of deck cores. I own a lot. I mean, I have about 10, 15 10s, and each 10 contains about 5 core decks apiece. So you times that by how many, and that tells you about how many decks I have. Oh, plus I got like 15 deck boxes of core decks with core staples and everything. So yeah, I own a lot of decks. What can I say? I've been in this game for many years. You accumulated a lot of cards and decks. But we're going to be doing my top 10 favorite decks that I currently own, I guess you could say. And I thought, we may have this beautiful Akiza mat in front of us, but you know what's a better play mat to do this profile on? This beautiful old school mat. Yeah, this old school mat, where it says Fusion Deck Zone. Fusion Deck Zone. Yes, I decided, guys, we can't do it on a Akiza mat, my top favorite decks. We're going to do it on the old school paper mat from like the old Yu-Gi-Oh! Structure decks. And that is what we're going to do this top 10 video on. So, without further ado, guys, let's get on to my top 10 favorite deck that I currently own. Some of these decks you may have never seen me profile on this channel, or I profiled it, but it's been a long time and I just haven't updated it yet. But I still play the deck. My number 10, guys, is Adultress. Yes, a lot of you guys may be kind of surprised by my number 10. But yeah, Adultress has been a deck that I've loved ever since Abyss Rising. I've always loved the deck. It is such a good deck. It was a deck that I've always thought that was kind of ahead of its time, so to speak. I mean, it had its own Stratos. It had a card that pretty much its boss monster did not target in an era where things target it. And it was just so good because you could just get around things because it wasn't a targetable card. It's a good OTK deck. It searches well. It thins well. A lot of people thought it was going to be in its prime. Was going to get hit when Angeli came out. I mean, the card really took off when Hoot Cake came out of Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy, and I loved it ever since Hoot Cake came out. That's when I started playing the deck a little bit before Hoot Cake came out, about a month or two before Hoot Cake came out. And Angeli, when Angeli got released over a year ago in Prio, I mean, I was like so psyched for that, and I played the deck a lot in that format, and I've been playing it ever since, but I just haven't updated it yet because, well, a lot of you guys have not asked for an update, and I may do it eventually here soon. I've been planning to. I'm just waiting for 1 or 2 cards to come in the mail, but I have the Brilliant Fusions I've been playing with in the deck. I have all the cards. I mean, heck, I even got my first Matoche Magdalenes that I've been playing ever since the deck originally came out, and I've loved this deck to death playing it over the years. It's such a good deck. I used to play TG Adultress. That's the main thing I used to play up until pretty much, right after Angeli came out, and then I went to a different variation, and then I pretty much went back to TG Adultress, then I went to Psychic Adultress, then I'm gone pretty much to Rock Candy Adultress, pretty much, or Gem Knight Fusions with, pretty much some Adultress, because that's pretty dang good. But I've gone through many different incarnations of this deck, and I've always loved it ever since it came out of Abyss Rising. And I've loved it more and more as years going on. But it's my number 10 as of right now, and I'm currently playing this deck a lot. It's so cute. They're so cute as well. I have to admit, Adultress are so freaking cute. My number 9 deck, it may come to you guys as a surprise to some extent that it's so low on this list, but I do like it, but I haven't played the deck a lot, and I'm updating it currently. I'm just waiting for Tracer Dragon to come out in Bosch. Apparently it's coming out in Bosch, Tracer Dragon, so it may move up in 2016, and that is Red Eyes. I love dragons. What can I freaking say? I love dragons when I play Pokemon, Dragonite, Garchomp, Charizard X, everything. I've loved dragons since I was a kid. And Blue Eyes, Horus, wink wink. But Red Eyes, I have to admit, in the hierarchy of my dragons in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually pretty much my lowest. He's not my lowest dragon I like, but for right now, I guess you could say, of decks I do own currently, he is my lowest. Why? It's not because of his low attack. It's not because of his mechanic, you know, for going for Beast Eyes, Pendulum Dragon, or, you know, whatever. It's not that. It's the fact of the matter is, I just have other dragons that I like a little bit more than him. But he's a good card, and he's good. And every time I have this tendency, I will admit, when I start playing Red Eyes and I really get in the mood, I start pretty much talking like Joey Wheeler. I'm like, I summon my... How do I usually say it? I'm like, I summon my Red Eyes! Red Eyes, attack! Or some... Yeah, I know, it's like... I literally start singing Brooklyn Rage. Look at my Red Eyes. But literally, it's a good deck. I love the deck to death. It's a fun deck. And I've pretty much been going... I've been switching currently. I've been playing for just like this past week the Fusion variation, but I'm pretty much switching to the XYZ variation at the recording of this video, and I'm liking the deck a little bit more and more. And believe me, there were days where I actually summoned this Red Eyes back on these paper play mats back in the day, and I do love this card. I do like Red Eyes. I do love BLS. I want to build that deck eventually, and maybe Buster Blader in the future, but that probably won't be till the Mega 10s get released in 2016. But I really like this deck overall. On to the number 8 favorite deck that I currently own, guys, and that would be... Yeah, I know. Burning Abyss, go figure. This is a deck that since the day it dropped out of Duelist Alliance and I heard about it, I've been wanting to build this deck. I wanted to, and I could have easily, when Dante came out, picked the Dantes up for 25 apiece. It wouldn't have cost me anything. I had the money. I just thought, oh, I'll let it go down $2 or $3 because I had that Noble Knight syndrome in my head. Even though I love Noble Knights and I currently own the deck, I was pretty much like, oh, you know, TCG exclusive deck ain't gonna be that good. Yep. Nope, I was wrong. But I was gonna play it no matter what. And as the format went on, some of my friends in different places let me play the Burning Abyss deck at regionals and whatnot, and whenever I got the chance to play at tournaments, at locals and stuff, wherever I was at school or whatever. And I have loved the deck ever since. And this entire 2015-2016 year going in, it's still going to be one of my favorite decks, definitely. 2014 was one of my favorite decks of all time, probably. I've loved the deck. The artwork is beautiful. The story. I'm just waiting for Beatrice to come out for this deck to really take off a little bit more again. I don't think it'll be main meta. And then we have the Rhino card, which is coming out, I think, in Bosch. So I think this deck is going to be doing pretty good for itself in the future. I think it's one of those type of decks that is never going to truly die in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because everything floats. And it's such a good deck. And I can't tell you how much more I love this deck. It's just so amazing. With Twin Twister coming out and stuff like that, this deck is just going to get better and better. And like I said, because the deck floats, it's going to be a solid deck for a long time in Yu-Gi-Oh! History. And maybe eventually Tour Guide will come back to 2 or something like that and make the deck a little bit better while helping other decks along. So I'm hopeful. But no matter what, it is definitely one of my favorite decks that I currently own, and I definitely play. And I hopefully will be profiling it for you guys after Bosch. Depending upon the rarities and whatnot, I think everything should be a little bit easy to get, so definitely expect a profile probably, hopefully, after Bosch. Hopefully. Next deck is a deck I love with a passion, and that is Harpies. This is a deck I've always loved. A theme you're going to start seeing in the decks that I currently own and that I play is I play a lot of control variation decks. And what do I mean by that? It's decks that control duels or control matchups very well. Depending upon the meta, they can be very good. They're very control-esque. What do I mean control-esque? They either stop something from happening, they grind it out, they stop something, a mechanic from happening, or something a deck does well from happening, and it grinds it out. Or it just destroys something I hate, which is back row. I love back row and I hate back row. And when Harpies came out in Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy 3 years ago and got all their new support, and literally, I think it was 2012 when they got announced. We got announced, and then that's when, I don't know where he is, but Dragon, wherever he is in the deck, got announced. that Harpies were getting support, everybody jumped on the, you know, Harpies pet dragon, and that thing shot up to like $150 overnight. And that was the end of like around this time, 2012. And I've been playing the deck ever since. Everybody was playing dragons when Lord of the Tachyon was out, and I was playing Harpies and battling boxers. That tells you my mindset back then. I hated the dragons, so what did I do? I picked up Harpies and started playing Harpies. Because I was stuck on playing Harpies, and for a while there they were cheap. They kind of went up in price when Jeff Jones started playing them, doing that time frame. And they were really good against rogue matchups, and they're still a damn good deck. If you play your cards right, if you play them right, I'm not lying, you can beat Pendulum decks. I know people probably say, oh, you can't do that. I'm not joking, you can. Dancer, pop your Pendulum Scale, pop your Pendulum Scale. You pop an opponent's Pendulum Scale twice and destroy both of the Pendulum Scales. Chidori, get over that. I'm telling you, you can win with this deck. Harpist really gave something to this deck and made it much more powerful. I just haven't updated it yet. I've been playing with the deck solidly. I'm probably going to be doing an update eventually, very soon. I do expect it probably in 2016. You'll see me do an update of this profile along with Madolches and everything. I just haven't done it because, well, there's been a lot of other deck profiles that have been taking, you know, priority, but it is definitely one of the favorite decks that I own and play in real life. Icarus Attack, Phoenix Wing Blast, Hysteric Sign is such a freaking good card. I mean, it's an amazing card. You literally get like 3 search effects in a search. It's a great card. And Harpist has been pretty much... I really like this card. It's pretty much been my favorite female-esque card next to Injection Fair Lily and Dark Magician. I like redheads, what can I say? But yeah, I love this deck. And like I said, freaking, you know, Chidori is an amazing card in this deck. So you can't go wrong with that. But that's why that deck is my number 7 favorite deck of all time. I think it is. Now to my number 6 favorite deck of all time, guys. And that is Herald.decks. And pretty much I have to clump these together because I still own the Herald core. I've been playing Herald of Perfection and Herald of Ultimateness for quite some time now. I played Herald of Perfection. I picked the deck up off a friend of mine about, back when I got into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. I got back into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I pretty much played Herald Agents. And I played pretty much my own variation of like Fairy Herald. And then I switched over when Herald of Perfection got announced. That after Prep got hit, I was kind of like, I don't want to play the deck now. But then Herald of Ultimateness came out, and I said, oh, okay, let's relook into the deck. And then Star Seraphs came out shortly after, and I said, oh my gosh, this is such a good deck, because the Star Seraphs work perfectly well with the deck, and I haven't turned back since. And you know, I've been playing the deck ever since. There's been no doubt about it. And with the new ritual support, I may play it a different way, but no matter what, I'll love this deck because literally you get Herald of Perfection out, and you just say to your opponent, negate, 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 negate. No, sir, negate. And that tells you something. I'm a control-esque player. There's a reason why I love Dino Rabbit so much. Dokyo and Laga, negate. I've loved control decks my entire life. What can I say? I'm a control player. But still, Herald of Ultimateness for that reason. I've just loved it for that reason. And the fact that I could just go off with the Star Seraph engine is really good. And that's one of my favorite decks of all time. But it goes back a lot further than that. You know, for me, playing Herald of Perfection with, agents, and then with pretty much fairies in general, with stuff of that nature, with shining angels, and takes me back. I've been playing this deck forever, but I love the deck to death. Next up, we have for my number 5, it's going to be Dark Magician. You may think, oh, why is Dark Magician not higher on your list? Well, the top 5 gets really crushed, and I really thought on my top 5 and my top 10 especially, but my top 5, I really, really thought about them. And Dark Magician is my number 5 favorite deck that I currently own for a bunch of different reasons. Number 1, probably these Dark Magicians right here, guys, and this Dark Magician girl, I know for a fact. These 3 right here got played on this paper play mat back when I was a kid. You literally just... Normal summon Dark Magician, do not tribute, attack! Those were the days. But literally, I know these cards got played on this paper play mat back in the day. But yes, I've loved the deck, and this was one of the decks in combination with Blue Eyes White Dragon, Red Eyes, and pretty much Red Eyes, Dark Magician, and Blue Eyes, and Tunes to some extent, have really took this channel off. It's really made it become what it is now, and I'm so happy I was able to build this deck. Red Eyes, Dark Magician decks also hold a special place in my heart, so even Red Eyes as well. Because these decks were not built solely by me. These decks were built by you guys, the subscribers and viewers, my old viewers and subscribers, for clicking on those ads and whatnot, because the ad revenue I got helped me build the Dark Magician deck, and then it helped me build the Red Eyes deck. Literally, the money I made build these decks. And back when you know, some of these cards were really cheap, like Dark Magic Attack and Eye of Timaeus were really cheap cards, you know, and the Spellbook Engine back when it was a little bit more expensive, you guys helped me build that back when those cards were very cheap, believe it or not. So thank you guys again. But yeah, I've loved Dark Magician. It's so iconic. I'm just hoping some of the other Dark Magician support comes out so I get to play this deck more. But I also personally feel like, and I'm saying this at the end of 2015, I do believe Dark Magician will get more support in the future. And I mean like an archetype based off of him. For my number 4, we'll hurry up quickly, guys, because we only got about 4 minutes left. It's Horus the Black Flame Dragon, level 8. I've been playing this deck since literally 2005, and I'll never put it down. I did disassemble it for a bit, then I rebuilt it, and I've loved the deck ever since. It's been one of my favorite decks of all time, and I've loved it. Again, another deck that pretty much negates things. It negates spells, and you can negate traps, and I've always loved it. And I've always loved Horde Ultimateness, his Ultimateness card. Say that 3 times fast. For my number 3, guys, you should probably know what this deck is. Blue Eyes freaking White Dragon. I've been playing Blue Eyes, guys, for ages. Like I said, I played these 3 Blue Eyes probably on this paper mat with Red Eye, Dark Magician back in the day. These cards got played on this paper mat. That's just so awesome to think about back when I was a kid. I've had this paper mat for years, by the way, but still. I've loved this deck. This deck is what made this channel. This, Dark Magician and Red Eyes, like I said, made this channel what it is. And this was the first thing I built and profiled for you guys. Back before even Maiden was out. I profiled, I think it was... if you go back in my archives, you'll probably find something like... Not my video archives, but literally if you go through my video list all the way back to probably 2013, 2012 maybe, I think you're going to find something of Blue Eyes. It was like a fusion variation, I think it was. That was a long time ago, but I'm so glad this deck is out. And I'm so happy they made it into a full-fledged archetype. I can't wait to play it. My number 2, guys, 6 Samurais. Go figure. I've been playing 6 Samurais forever, guys. I played them back when GX was out with the original 6 Sams. I've been playing them ever since the legendary 6 Samurais came out. And I'll be playing this deck long before I'm gone. Literally the top 5 decks I'll never get rid of in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I will never ever sell those top 5 decks. Gravekeeper, 6 Sams. I already told you what number. And Blue Eyes and Horus, excuse me. And Dark Magician as well. I'll never sell those decks. But 6 Samurais, legendary 6 Samurais I've loved. Another deck that pretty much says negate. I'm a control player. What can I say again? But it's pretty much a control deck with the ability to spam. And I've always loved this deck ever since the GX era. Please bring Gateway back. And my number 1 favorite deck of all time, I've kind of hinted at, guys. And you guys, if you've been subscribed, you should know what my number 1 and my number 2 favorite decks of all time are. It's GKs. It's always going to be GKs, I really think. The fact that this, I've always loved the artwork. I've always loved the deck. I picked it up originally when Pharaonic Guardian dropped. And it's one of those decks that has just stuck around for the last 10, 15 years. I've been playing this deck longer than I've been playing Horus, the Black Flame Dragon, because this set came out before Horus, and I know for a fact I have been. I even have one of my original Necro Valleys in the deck. It's a super, but I've loved the deck to deck. Again, it's another control deck, guys. But tell me, guys, down below, guys, what is your favorite decks of all time? What decks do you currently own? Are your favorite decks that you play? Like I said, I have many decks, but these are my top 10 decks that I currently own. And until next time, guys, take care. Have fun dueling. Good luck dueling. I'll see you guys next time, and hope you enjoyed this top 10 video. I love GKs. I love GKs. Take care, everybody. I'm out of here, guys. Till next time, and good luck dueling to all of you. Take care, everybody.